Good evening, or should I say, season's greetings. Where are we? Leo Malley, good evening. William, let's go back there. Let's go back there. Come on, go back there. Leo Malley, William Singleton, Smooth Operator, what a smooth name that is. Will Barnes, Pat Keys, Jamie 296, Greg, Jamie L, Niall M, Alpha Interactions. Let's get back to the yeah, absolutely. Soy 6, stroke 1, Cowboy Vic episodes. Good evening to you all, guys. Will Barnes, Eugene Vincent, Reborn Itzy and Betsy, yes. Bea Alosis, Edward Sweeney, Pages of Old 20 Stone Women. Not all of those, just the ones called Stella. Okay, Chris Maxwell, Daniel Quigley, Ion Tilt, good evening to you, mate. Phil Robbins, Bobby Crush, good evening. Rusty Led, Sean the Prawn, Steve Luckshides, never come across that name before. Nice to hear from you. Martha Mule, David R, Merry Christmas. Not quite yet, mate, but anyway, Merry Christmas to you. Soy 6, let's get up to 100. There's 84 in the chat. I'm going to open a Stella there. No, I'm not. I'm going to open a Crony. A nice £5.75 for 4. A pint can, full pint cans out of the co-op. Jeez, you can't beat that. There's some bars where you couldn't get a bloody pint for £5.75 in this day and age. Staying in is the new going out. 93 in the chat. Seamus Doherty, 01 from Sweden. Stuart Marsden, happy as Larry. Asia Overland with Dave. Dutch Farang, hi Ed, loved your appearance on Thailand Bounce. Jeez, it went on for a long time, didn't it? It was nice, like Peter would agree, staying in's the new going out. I mean, I've just said a moment ago, 4 cans of Kronenberg, pints of Kronenberg from the co-op for £5.75. Throwing a little bit of brandy, which I've run out of. It was good. It was a great stream. 4.5 hours just flashed by, and it was great to be on Peter's stream. Anyway, Thailand Bound. If you haven't seen that stream, check out Thailand Bound last Friday night for 4 hours of talk, basically. Late night talk. Okay, so Del Boy. Let's see. Dutch Farang, Joe Hart. Good evening. Scott Murray. Hello, Eddie. Whereabouts in Thailand will you be going? Well, the 2 places I will be going is the 2 obvious places, which will be Bangkok and Pattaya. I don't actually know what state Pattaya will be in by then. It seems to be having problems. I mean, some people believe Pattaya is being picked on. I've even seen a video from another vlogger last week where he said that just about everywhere else in Thailand is open now, other than Pattaya. It seems to be picked on for some reason. But they're the 2 places I would definitely be going. I'll tell you what, I'm seeing some nice little videos from Isan or Isan, or whatever you pronounce it. I think it's Isan. Isan, man, who comes on this chat and is a Facebook friend of mine. Has been giving me a lot of information about that place, and I've never actually been there. So, I would be looking forward. But this worry about it. I've got 3 weeks to go. It should be flying in three weeks' time. Now, I planned on doing the Thailand Pass last week. I still haven't done it. I'm ashamed to say, really, really, really ashamed to say I still haven't done it, simply because I booked a hotel, but I'm not entirely confident about that hotel. The problem with that hotel is I've messaged him to say, are you going to pick me up from the airport? And we've had this talk before, but they haven't got back to me. I'm sorry, I need to know exactly where I am. I'm strongly leading, and funnily enough, it was Peter Thailand Bound who suggested it, that I get in touch with somebody and basically get them to do the whole package for me. I need a package hotel, which involves not just a hotel being an SHA plus, but also a written guarantee that they're going to pick me up from the airport. Maybe give me a few meals thrown in. I think I need the package hotel. I can see myself cancelling that other one tomorrow, and that hotel, and going with the package. Bear Alsos, 39,000 subscribers. Cheers to that, mate. I'm glad you noticed. I'm really thrilled about that. I'm really, really thrilled about it. So let me consume a little bit of cold beer first. Lovely jubbly. Let's just talk about that a minute. My subscriber base is obviously has slowed down over the last couple of years, really, since we've had this terrible problem. It's been moving. I think when I left Thailand early last year, I think I just about touched 30,000. Now I'm on 39. It's slowed down a lot, simply because there hasn't been many videos around. But what gave it a boost a couple of weeks ago, I made a little video which done rather well. Let me just explain something. I mean, a lot of vloggers who do Thai vlogs in Southeast Asia, that part of the world, have sort of been ostracized over the last couple of years. And some people believe because you've been ostracized for quite a while, a lot of your subscribers might have forgotten about you. And when you eventually get back out to travel into that part of the world, will the support still be there after all this time? Well, I think I've had that question answered by a video I made a couple of weeks ago. It was fairly not the most inspired video. I used old footage, and all of that. But basically, it was what was it called again? What was it called? Yeah, is Cambodia a good alternative to Thailand? Okay. And on the thumbnail of that video had the most miserable, sour-looking face that you've ever seen in your life. So it certainly wasn't clickbait. But that video has now got almost 50,000 views. It's on 49,000 something else. And so the idea, like, will people still be interested in my videos? Well, the answer is yes. I mean, that's certainly got an interest, that video. Now, I cannot wait. If there's one thing I want from when I start selling in a few weeks' time, I really want to get back to making videos again. Really. I have some nice little cameras. I've got a new laptop. I've still got the same editing system, but it's pretty good. I just want to get out there and start vlogging again and making videos. And but yeah, I'm pleased with 39,000 subscribers. Since that video a couple of weeks ago, I think I've gained about another 400 subscribers since then. To bring it up to 39,000. So if you are new to this channel, if you have subscribed recently, welcome aboard. Thanks for subscribing, and let's get back to traveling and get back to making some videos. Okay, Club Fillers Inc. Thanks for setting up the other day, mate. Club Fillers Inc. is Barry the Boss. Barry the Boss. Oh, Jesus, I'm envious. Do you know where Barry is right now? Barry is in Brazil. I think he's been there for a couple of weeks. I don't know how long he's going to be out there. But yesterday afternoon, I was doing, and all of a sudden a stream appeared on it with Barry going down, vlogging, doing a live stream down Copacabana Beach, Rio de Janeiro. Some lovely ladies in there. Fantastic. Barry, I really enjoyed that stream. And best of luck, mate. Best of luck. Rio's fantastic. I'm sure you've had a great time out there. Paul Hoskin, will you be kissing anyone under the mistletoe? Under the mistletoe, what part of the body is the mistletoe? Is that a euphemism for something? If that's the case, yeah, probably will be. Okay, Andrew Blades, evening. Elliot McNamara, Hard Tulip, hi from Newcastle. S Travels, Manchester. Graham Johnson, good evening. Eddie from Benidorm. Is that where you live in Spain, Graham? I've heard from you a lot, but I know you live in Spain, but is that where you actually live? I went to Benidorm, about 3 years ago. I think it was about 3 years ago. And I loved it. Great place. But some of the nightlife there is really smutty. They had the live sex deal. And I did film it in the club. It was one of those bars. What was it? It was Tatiana and Martin. It was Darth Vader and Princess Leia. It was a Star Wars stuff where apparently they're a married couple and been on the circuit for years, and they sort of strip off and get it on there. It was all live and full front and all that. I've seen it at about 3 or 4 different bars around Benidorm. I also seen the younger version of Sticky Vicky. That was pretty good. Yeah, Benidorm's cool. Nice to hear from you, Graham. Sean Gibbons, get it down here. Okay, Simon and Siam, evening, Ed, not long now. It's 3 weeks. Okay, no, Jesus Christ. A rule for everyone, absolutely everyone. whatever you do, do not leave things to the last minute. Not in this circumstance. I mean, if I was planning to travel normally, I will be up to where I should be up to. But now I've got to get this Thai pass sorted. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to cancel that hotel because they haven't got back to me about the transport, and that is very, very. There's a lack of communication there somewhere, and I may just opt for a package. Maybe even get someone to do the whole package for me if I can. We'll see about that. But I've got to get that Thai pass sorted this week, not next week, this week. And as for the visa, the United visa, well, I won't go too much details about that just yet. But let's just say that I've got that sort of sorted. I have actually got that. I think I have. I think I've got that sorted. So I did things last week to actually, I didn't totally waste last week. I actually did things, that needed to be done. So I'm a little bit ahead of myself, but I really, really need to get that Thai pass this week, the Thai pass, and also I'll sort out all the things that go with it. I'm not going to leave it to next week. If I get it done this week, that means I've got 2 weeks to breathe, okay? And the other thing, they're the bloody thing that's getting on my, I hate it. The worst thing about all this is that annoying 72 hours before you fly. One of my subscribers, Ian Bowden, I believe, he was kind of mortified that it's now got to be an RT PCR test. What's an RT exactly? What is that? An RT PCR test? Jesus Christ! I've got to boot that this week and get it all done and dusted. And like I say, it's going to be New Year's week. The week of the New Year, so it's probably not the best time to get anything sorted. But I really just better make sure that you get that 72 hours PCR test all sorted. And by the way, is it 72 hours before you fly or 72 hours before you land in Bangkok? Because it can take a day to get from UK to Bangkok. So, oh well, it's about a lot of hassle, but you just got to get on with it. Daniel Quigley, $5.70 a pint of Estrella where I was on Saturday. Is Estrella? Is that Stella you mean? Let's see. Okay. Del Boy K, updates there, Eddie. Well, Poppycorn, hi, great show of Peter the other night. You're like the Peter Houston of on Parkinson of chat show guest. Thank you. I'd take that as a compliment. I thought you were going to say I'm the Oliver Reed of chat show guests. Check out some old Oliver Reed videos, hilarious. Well, Oliver Reed, I think we said this last week, but Oliver Reed did eventually become niggled in his older years because he became more famous for being a chat show drunk rather than being a talented actor, which he clearly was, and very, very charismatic. Happy as Larry, cancel my upcoming trip to Thailand. Things going a bit crazy again, and I'm too nervous to take the chance. We're due to depart 20th. Can't take the chance that I would have to. Well, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. We've had the first. I'm not going to say there's any trivial way. UK is recorded the first death of the onion variant. Now that's not a laughing matter. There's nothing to trivialize about that. But the onion variant is going up here, and we're not out the woods yet. I've got 3 weeks before I'm scheduled to go to Thailand. What's going to happen in the next 3 weeks? I've got to get everything sorted this week, and then whatever will be, will be. That old phrase is in the lap of the gods. If I get everything sorted this week, I cannot sit back and think, well, that's it. It's plain sailing from now to then. No, it isn't. Sometimes you get bloody nervous even switching on the news, from what you're going to hear next. That's the way it is, isn't it? Hard Tulip, nice to hear from you. Neil Fleet, okay, good to hear from you, Neil Fleet. Neil Fleet's been to Gambia recently, that's, so good for you, mate. Tiller Hertz, nice to hear from you, mate. Delboy K, I thought you needed a Sharp package. Well, I thought you needed a Sharp Plus hotel, which is the one that I booked, but it looks to me, I better rebook it and get myself a package. Rupert, a Golder has packages. Now, do you know something, Rupert? I've never actually used a Golder. I always use Booking.com. I did use Trivago for a while. I think, and I think I've heard a Thai official on a video somewhere recommending a Golder. I just think I better check out a Golder from tomorrow. If Booking.com isn't doing its part. Or look at an alternative route. John Metcalf, Solitaire Bangkok, Ed. Yeah, is that the name of the hotel? Soy 6, Thai pasta change again soon. Yeah. Let's see, Bottle Baby. Wait a bit because Gov may eliminate Shah hotels. I can't wait, mate. I can't wait. My flight leaves in 3 weeks' time. Can't wait. I've got to get stuff sorted. It may well. You never know. Things can change in 5 bloody minutes with all of this. They really, really can. By the way, I've got a guest tonight on this program. The guest is the wonderful David, Big Dave. He's been on before. He's been on a couple of times before. And what he wants to talk about tonight is his he has a condo in John TM. So, it'll be worth listening. We've had enough of all of this doom and gloom and all this ridiculous stuff. It'd be nice to have a bit of light relief. And, we'll be talking about something that, will interest a lot of people. So I'm looking forward to that. He's coming on later anyway. Paul Powell, good luck with getting away. Plenty of more restrictions are surely on the way. Thailand won't risk more infection from us Brits. Vietnam, as far as I've heard, Vietnam and Laos have now banned us from Britain. They consider us to be a couple of the Southeast Asian countries which I've visited before. Vietnam, wonderful Vietnam. Apparently, that's a no-go for us. They've banned us. They've said no British people this year. This is what I'm reading, and Laos as well, which I wasn't really planning on going to, but they've basically said they don't want us. So that leaves us with Southeast Asia, with Thailand, Cambodia, and Philippines. I don't know what the script is with the Philippines, but Vietnam and Laos, they're a no-go area for us right now. Simon and Siam, Ed, you need to look for the Shah Plus. That is actually the one that I booked. I did book a Shah Plus, but I'm a little bit disappointed that I've messaged, I've emailed them to say, tell me if you're going to pick me up, and they haven't got back to me. Ivan, Eddie, all the Shah hotels provide airport pickup, test, and 3 meals a day. Mine is just they're not doing the part. They're not doing the part. David Kane, happy as Larry, you're dead right. Don't waste your money going to Thailand now. I don't blame anyone for looking at the situation and saying, I'm not going to entertain. Osdy Clark, hello from Puerto del Carmen. Is that Playa del Carmen in Mexico? I've been there. Bloody nice place. Nice place. Tampa guy, I thought the Greek and Turkey videos were really great fun to watch. Thanks for that. And they didn't get a massive amount of interest from a lot of people. But I enjoyed being out there. I mean, Crete, lovely island, lovely place. Anyway, there's no pork pies tonight, but I'll tell you what I am looking forward to eating later. I'm not going to eat it during the show because I wouldn't wish me eating one of these on my worst enemy. Look very, very... But I haven't had one of these for a long, long time. A good old pot noodle, a beef and tomato. There's two nice types of this. There's the beef and tomato, and there is the spicy curry version. And I just haven't had one for such a long time. I noticed the other day, £1 a piece. And you know what? I can't bloody wait to get stuck into that later. That is just the kind of snack that I need tonight. Bottle Baby. This is curious. News from local Thai TV. Government might quash Shah if you test negative at airport. RT test. Yeah, but that's a bit late, isn't it? I mean, presumably you've already booked it. You've already booked it by then. Kipak's nice to hear from me, mate. Samuel Hutchinson, good to hear from me, mate. Samantha, your secret lover. What is that comment? You go when Europe closed down. Smart. Not exactly. Samantha, your secret lover. Rio, yeah? Okay. Osdy Clark, Roger or Dodger. Should we bring back a little bit of Dodger? Not tonight, but maybe another night. There's still a couple of other ones. SK Travels. Hi, Ed. I do nightlife in Manchester. A fit 8-stone young women. You may cancel your trip and go to Manchester instead. Well, thanks for that info. But somehow I think fit young 8-stone women in Manchester would not be really interested with an old drunken fat bastard like me. I really, really don't think they would somehow. So I don't really think that's the place for me. Sean the Prawn, boss is picking up 9s and 10s on Copacabana Beach. Good for him, mate. Brazil, magnificent. I had some great. Do you know something? I mean, I've seen Barry's video on Rio, and I was I thought to myself, Jesus, I should have gone there. It seems to be less hassle. Okay, let's have a look. Now, listen, let me just say, before we get stuck in here, because Big Dave is coming on quite soon. He's coming on quite soon. So, let me just say a little bit of a light relief here. It was a light relief we could say. But I woke up to a bit of a laugh today. I checked my emails. Oh, a lot of this. I check my emails. And basically, in the inbox, all the, usual, not really very, very interesting stuff. But I came to the junk email section. Now, have you ever had a scam? Have you ever, that's a scam? Well, yeah, plenty. We all get them. We all get these scams, and they have crazy spelling and all kinds of stuff. Obvious scam. This one that I've got here today gave me a bloody good laugh. It is not just a scam, it is actually out and out blackmail. Yes, it is actually out and out blackmail. So basically, where are you? Where are you again? This is actually black. Now, can I say that in this day and age? Is that unpolitically correct to use that phrase, blackmail? Yeah, but I just thought I'd share it with you because it gave me a bit of a laugh. This is. Right now, my emails, not my Gmail account, but my email, which I've had for many, many years. Somebody sent me in the junk, and I thought I'd read this out. We'll have a little bit of a laugh about this, but the serious side is that there are some sad people who will actually fall for crap like this. So this is the email that I got today. Now the email, they've got my email. I don't know where they've got it from, but they've actually not spelt it wrong. They've actually phrased it in the way that I wouldn't phrase it. So as soon as I was suspicious straight away because it's not the way I would have written my emails. But anyway, I'll just read this out because it's a bit of a laugh. Updates, payment from your account. It's got in brackets a long number there. I don't know what that number is. Now it's got up here. This message was identified as junk. Well, it is junk, yeah. We'll delete it after 10 days. Well, okay, fair enough. But then it's got another message underneath saying this message was sent with high importance. Are they trying to say that I'm impotent? Oh, no, important, not impotent. Okay, fine. Okay, so I'll read it out anyway. Now, it's got my email at the top, right? I don't know how the bastards have got it. They have their ways. But they've written my email in a way that I wouldn't write it. I've never ever written it. So that's instantly suspicion, and it's in the junk category. So let's see. Now, it comes from somebody called Awesome at Primary Domains on Microsoft.com. I've never heard of them before, and I don't really wish to hear from them again. Just have to read this out because it's a bit of a laugh. It starts off with greetings, not season's greetings, but greetings. And the news is, this is what it says. It says, I have to share bad news with you. Approximately a few months ago, I gained access to your devices, which you use for your internet browsing. After that, I have started tracking your internet activities. Ooh, I'm scared. Here is the sequence of events. Some time ago, I purchased 2 email accounts from hackers. Nowadays, it's quite simple to buy it online. I've easily managed to log into your email account, and they've printed my email account again, except they've written it in a way that I've never ever written it. 1 week later, I've already installed a Trojan virus on the operating systems of all the devices you use to access your email. It was not hard at all, since the following links from your inbox emails, all ingenious is simple, okay? This software provides me with access to all your devices, controllers, for example, your microphone, video camera, and keyboard. I have downloaded all your information, data, photos, web browsing history to my servers. I have access to all your messengers, social networks, emails, chat history, and contacts list. My virus continually refreshes the signatures. It is driver-based and hence remains invisible for antivirus software. This is frightening the bloody pants off me up to now, isn't it? Likewise, I guess by now you understand why I have stayed undetected until this letter. Okay, now, after all that boring crap, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. This is the good bit. He's getting down to the juicy bit, this here. Here we go. While gathering information about you, I have discovered that you are a big fan of adult websites. So what's new? You love visiting porn websites and watching exciting videos whilst enjoying an enormous amount of pleasure. Yeah? Well, I could have told you that. Well, I have managed to record a number of your dirty scenes and montaged a few videos which show how you masturbate and reach orgasms. As if I do it different. I mean, Jesus, it shows how I masturbate and reach orgasm. I don't know. It's not bloody rocket science, is it? Do I do it any different? Okay. If you have doubts, I can make a few clicks on my mouse and all your videos will be shared with your friends, colleagues, and relatives. I also have no issue at all with making them available for public access. I guess you don't want this to happen. Considering the specificity of the videos you like to watch, brackets, you perfectly know what I mean. It will cause a real catastrophe for you. Specifically, of the videos I watch, I mean, I suppose Anissa Kate really is quite specific. Yeah, absolutely. And okay, so we've done that bit. Now we've done the juicy bit. Now let's get down to the nitty gritty. What does he want? What does he want? What does he want? Let's settle it this way. You transfer $2,062 to me, brackets, in Bitcoin, equivalent according to the exchange rate at the moment of funds transfer. And once the transfer is received, I will delete all this dirty stuff right away. After that, we will forget about each other. I also promise to deactivate and delete all the harmful software from your devices. Trust me, I keep my word. I love that bit. Trust me, I keep my word. He really, really does sound like a very, very trustworthy and honourable man, doesn't he? Yeah. And then the next paragraph, that is a fair deal and the price is relatively low. Why am I getting a bargain? Do you usually bloody charge $3,000 do you when you blackmail people? That's a fair deal. The price is relatively low. It sounds like he's bloody doing a Sainsbury's offer of frozen lasagnas. Buy one, get one free. Considering that I've been checking out your profile and traffic for some time by now, if you don't know how to purchase and transfer Bitcoins, you can use any modern search engine. And then it's got, here is my Bitcoin wallet. Now, I've never used Bitcoin, so a Bitcoin wallet is something alien for me. But there's a full line here of this number, which is number and letters. I've got it written down there and I've screenshotted. It's on this iPad right here. It's on this iPad right here. I've screenshotted it anyway, and it's there. So let me see. Yeah, trust me, keep my word. Great line there, great line there. So basically, this is urgent. This is urgent. Okay, I better do something about this. You have less than 48 hours from the moment you open this email, precisely 2 days. Things you need to avoid from doing, okay? 1, do not reply to me. I have created this email inside your inbox and generated a return address. 2, do not try to contact the police and other security services. Also, forget about telling your friends. If I discover that, as you can see, it is not so hard considering that I control all your systems, your video will be shared with the public right away. It's okay. You can rest. If you're watching this, mate, you can rest assured. I'm not sharing this with the police or my family and friends and relatives and all that. I may just I may just mention it on my YouTube live stream, where my 39,000 subscribers have access to all this information. I might just share it there, but apart from that, don't worry about it. 3, don't try to find me. It is pointless. All cryptocurrency transactions are anonymous. Yes? Number 4, don't try to reinstall the OS on your device or throw them away. It is pointless as well, since all the videos have already been saved at my remote servers. Okay? So, this, and he finishes off with things you don't need to worry about. Oh, that's nice. Oh, there's some things that I don't need to worry about. 1, that I won't be able to receive your funds transfer. Don't worry, I will see it right away once you complete the transfer, since I continuously track all your activities. My Trojan virus has got a remote control feature, something like Team Viewer. And then he says that I will share your videos. I will basically, he's saying he will not share my videos after I complete the funds transfer. So in other words, I send him $2,062, and rest assured I can trust him because he's a trustworthy, reasonable guy, and he'll throw away my videos and we never hear each other again. Yeah, okay? And if you believe that, you really do believe that fairies exist. Okay. So to finish off, I love this closing paragraph. Everything will be done in a fair manner. Yeah. One more thing. Don't get caught in similar kinds of situations anymore in the future. What's he saying there? Is he giving me a slap on the legs and saying, just stop masturbating to Anissa Kate videos? It's naughty. Yeah. And then he's always giving me some friendly advice at the end. My advice, keep changing all your passwords frequently. Well, so there you go. That's not just a scam. That's a blackmail. That is an out and out blackmail. Okay. So basically, what he's saying, he's been watching me watching porn or whatever it is that I watch through the camera. Well, I don't think so, because the fact is the laptop is linked into the TV. I watch it through the TV, and the laptop is pointed in another direction. So he's going to have an hard job. But basically, what he's saying is that if I don't pay this $2,000, then it's going to be made public. Me sitting in an armchair bashing the bishop to bloody Anissa Kate. Okay. I'm not worried about it. And the thing is, it'd be interesting to see if he really, really does release that video, which I'm 1,000,000% sure that he hasn't got anyway. But imagine if he really, really did have that video. Imagine if he released it and it became public. You never know. That video would be seen by a lot of people. Me sitting in an armchair bashing the bishop to Anissa Kate, you never know. Maybe even Anissa Kate might even see the video. And Anissa Kate might watch the video and she might kind of like what she sees. She might be impressed with it. She might be impressed so much that she'll invite me to her French farmhouse or wherever she lives, for talks. Oh, what a mouth-watering prospect. Sad bloody thing is that, you notice during all of those paragraphs, he never once mentioned my name. Now, the reason he didn't mention my name is because he's probably sent the same email out to 1,000,000 other people, and it's simply too much hard work to include the name during the course of the paragraphs. But the sad thing is, what are these people motivated? What are these people motivated by? The fact is, there are some dumb idiots who will actually fall for stuff like that. You think about it, if he sent 1,000,000 videos, it's only 1,000,000 emails like that out, then even if 0.0%, even if 0.1% of people actually fall for that crap, and it's bad, they wouldn't be doing crap like that unless some sad bastard somewhere actually falls for it. Then he's going to make a lot of money, isn't he? But anyway, I just doesn't share that one simply because it made me laugh. What's wrong with bashing the bishop to the Anissa Kate? If you don't know who I'm talking about, go and Google her. Oh my God, magnificent. So let's see. What have we got now? Let's see. Let's see what the chat's saying. Paul Hoskin, how did they find out how much porn at 4 times a day? Only 4? Dario Vega, okay, but more for me could have whatever. More for me could have a lot of likes. Yeah, would that get on YouTube? Okay, Dutch Frank, Eddie will be famous. You'll be famous. Eddie having a big tug. Okay, you would end up with 2 channels. Okay, I might have a video of you with old Cheetown. Eddie might have a video of you with old bingo wings. Okay, Bobby Crush, more like Lily Savage will say it and come around to yours. Oh, God, anything but that. Anything but that. Let's see. So what we're going to do now, our things in the community, there's not really a great deal to talk about right now. Sometimes if we switch the bloody TV on and we get bad news, then there's something to talk about. Something not very, very good. But like I just said, by the way, thanks for that super chat. I've had a couple of super chats while I've been waffling on all there. But a couple of super chats. One from Pack Keys. Yeah, thanks for that. Don't click on any dodgy links and emails. No, not doing that, mate. Not doing that. Okay. And Shooting from the Sky. Eddie is Benny Hill reincarnated. Oh, I like that. That's a nice compliment, that is. That's a nice compliment. Let's see. Jan, which YouTubers will you meet up with? I don't know yet, but I'd like to meet. There's quite a few that I would like to meet. I really would. Listen, I'm going to invite somebody on now. It's going to be David R. With about, how long we get? 36 minutes and 349 people watching. David R. Big Dave has been on a couple of times before. Let's see. Can we get him there? Let's see. Let's see now. Where am I now? Let's see. Where's my guest? Where's my guest? Okay, where's my guest? Where's my guest? I think David may already have had the. I think he might already have had the link anyway. I still can't get it. This StreamYard, stops and starts. Paul, ask the Blast live. Let's see, where is he? Here we are. We have Big Dave, and we have Big Dave anyway. I'll tell you what. Let me just thank As Blaster Live. Yeah, you real Eddie. Cheers, mate. Thanks for that. Thanks for that super chat. Paul Smith, Eddie with a one-man starter tracks. No need for second banana. Okay, Ross, Jack. I just cancelled. Let me see now. Yeah, okay. Let's see. I'm getting some dodgy sort of messages. But it's about me. It's about me. It's not about anyone. About anyone else. Okay. Listen. It's time for squeaky door time. It is time for squeaky door time, and I will be back in a minute with Big Dave, and he's going to tell us, amongst other things, about his condo in John TN. So don't miss that. Be a nice bit of light relief. Anyway, okay. Squeaky door time. Back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Right, hide that. Hide that. So it is time to bring our guest on. Let me just have a little quick look at the chat, see what's happening here. Pandemic of the unvaccinated, sorry, unvaccinated. Where it was, it's just disappeared there. After Thailand next week, we'll have a beer or two for you all on Sorry Chibin. Good luck to you, mate. Well done. Okay, Dutch Farang. Let's see. Ken Christopherson. So, Eddie, you do your curly hair or whatever. Bradley, is Eddie a closet smoker or something? Can I just say, by the way, I haven't had my hair cut for a long time. I have a whatchamacallit, but I can't get around to it. I think my next haircut's going to be in Thailand. There's videos out there of that lovely bird with the big knockers who cuts people's hair. I think the Queen of Pattaya was the first one to actually show her. I might try for that one. Okay, so time now to introduce my guest. He's been on a couple of times before. He's a great guy. Dave, Comrade Dave. Cheers. How are you doing, Dave? Wonderful hat.
Well, I thought we'd play Guess the Hat. So when I used to travel to places actually other than Southeast Asia, I used to collect hats from everywhere. So I thought I'd bring this one on tonight. See how many.
That's actually quite a dramatic hat, that is.
It's the real deal. It's the real deal.
The real deal. Wonderful. So with Comrade Dave, perhaps you'd like to tell me which country that comes from exactly.
This is a ex-Soviet Russian general command hat.
Absolutely, and it suits you. It looks lovely. It looks absolutely lovely. But can you wear it on a night out in California?
I've been trying to work that in. It hasn't been successful yet, other than Halloween.
Okay. Well, it's great to hear from you, Dave. So, how are things how are things in California? I think am I right in saying what time we are? Is it about 2:45 in the afternoon right now?
It's a quarter.
So you had a full 8 hours. America's a big country. I mean, New York is just 5 hours behind England. Mm-hmm. We're such a small country. We only have one time zone. New York is 5 hours behind. But if you go to where you are, California, it's 8 hours behind.
Just so you know, I am drinking Earl Grey.
Earl Grey, lovely stuff. I never drink tea. I'm a coffee drinker. Coffee of the day, alcohol of a nighttime. Let's have a little look. Bobby Crush, Tommy Cooper Fez next. Have you heard of Tommy Cooper, Dave?
No, I haven't heard of him.
I thought you liked a bit of British TV comedy. Tommy Cooper was Welsh, but he was one of the most famous and well-loved of all British comedians. He was about 6'4", and for some reason he wore a fez, like an Egyptian fez. And what was his catchphrase? Just let her. And he was basically a rubbish magician who used to, do a sort of parody of magicians. But very, very, not to everyone's taste. I didn't raise him personally.
I might have heard of him at one point or another.
He actually dropped dead on I think I'm actually right in saying he actually dropped dead on live TV. But anyway, what are you up to these days? How are things in California? And
well, it's a balmy 63 degrees right now, but the good news is I'm actually beginning the startings of my trip to Thailand, just like you.
That sounds good. That sounds positive. That sounds good.
So I won't be getting there until, you'll still be there somewhere, I'm guessing, but I'm planning on arriving the last week of February.
Planning on arriving the last week of February. That's a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just say that's what I'm not going to do right now. I'm not going to give away my itinerary totally, but let's just say that's a good time. That is a really, really good time. But David, it's all, I don't want to put doom and gloom on everything. I've got 3 weeks to go before I'm flying out. I've got to, like I've already explained, I can't leave it any longer. I'm a bit, a bit slovenly when it comes to getting things done, but I swear I'm not going to leave it to the last minute. This week, not next week or the week after, this week, I want to obtain my Thai pass, and I also want to book that awful, and that's the worst bit for me, that awful within 72 hours thing. What I might actually have to do, I've got to travel to Heathrow Airport to get my flight. What I might well do is maybe travel up there the day before and just make damn sure that I get that PCR test. And somebody said,
you were asking about when to take the test. It's 72 hours before departure.
Well, yeah, but the problem is David. I mean, we're talking about the first week of the year, New Year's week, and it's not everything is open, and also it can take about a day to actually arrive in time. Somebody said to me the other day he's concerned that it's not actually 72 hours before departure; it's actually 72 hours before you arrive in the other country.
That's not for Thailand. I spent a lot of time last night on the Thai embassy website.
Yeah.
Everything says 72 hours before departure.
Before departure. Well, that's a bit better, but I that's the bit that worries me more than anything. I might have to do before I flew to Crete. I arrived about 6. I got off I arrived at the airport about 6 hours before my flight was leaving, and I got an express PCR test with a company called Randox. I can say that. And I heard some rather negative reports, but they actually went through quite well. And I actually was at the airport. I got my results back in about 90 minutes, and I was still to get it back when it was negative within 90 minutes. Fine, just get on board the airplane. Done and dusted. But it adds stress. It adds stress. But too much stress to things. Really, it really, really does add too much stress to things. I can do without it. So. Anyway, that's the worst bit. So let's just have a little look at the chat. But your airline, yeah. Someone said, but your airline might say within 24 hours. First I've heard of that. Okay, Simon and Siam. I mentioned something about getting my hair cut. Barber Bay is the one with the Hooters. Okay, I might try and check her out. There's a barber in Hooters. Yeah, there's that video going around. A few people have made the same video, really, of getting their haircut in Pattaya with a very, very busty lady. And it makes for a very, very good video. I think Queen of Pattaya was the first one to actually do it. That's as I understand it. But I wouldn't mind getting my haircut there.
Just want to give a quick shout to my buddy Boris. I see him online. Cheers.
Boris is here, is he?
Yeah, he's online. He's a buddy of mine.
Oh, good for him. Good for him. Anyway, good for him. The thing is, with regards to haircuts, I don't really worry too much about haircuts. Let me just. Do you ever remember something, David? You probably wouldn't remember the Open University on British TV. Have you ever aware of that? Let me just tell you something. When I was a kid, right? 60s, 70s, there was only 3 TV channels. And they all finished at midnight. In fact, we were so desperate for TV that you would watch the TV, and when the channels finished at midnight, you would actually look at a little dot in the middle of the TV where the TV was closing down, like as if the dot was miraculously going to spring back to life. And it was only later that we got more channels and whatever. But we were very, very envious of America at that time, because we had stories that you had 50 TV channels or something. We had 3. We had BBC One, BBC Two, and ITV, and that's all we got. It was Channel 4 came around about 1982. But even then, when all those other channels appeared, TV still closed down at about midnight. So, it was very, very draconian, really. But the reason I mentioned the Open University is that was on BBC Two late at night. That was the only show that actually stayed beyond midnight. And basically, it was all these sort of hippiest professors. Now, there was 2 types of them, as I recall. There were the older professors who looked very, very suited, tied, very, very, conservative. But the other type of professors were younger hippie types who just didn't care about haircuts. They had the weirdest haircuts. Their hair just grew wherever it wanted. It was like, I always thought as a young kid, these people are so intelligent that they don't need to impress anyone with a haircut. They'll just let their hair grow wherever it wants to grow. You know what I mean? So this is like, well, you know, I'm not really bothered about my hair. If my hair sort of grows misshapen, then I'll just tell people that I'm an open university professor. So I don't know how I got talking on that rubbish anyway. How many Cronenbergs have I had?
So you were saying you wanted your MTV.
Absolutely. That all came in the 1980s, but like I said, in the 60s and 70s, we were so envious when we had stories about American TV having about 50 channels, because we had bloody 3. Although we did have quality, you know, with some of the great series. You know, you mentioned, you know, the BBC comedy series and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, okay, let me see now. So, what do you want to tell us about this week, David? You have a condo in Jomtien, in close to Pattaya, yeah?
Yeah. So I bought it about 2012. I did the contract on it.
2012. Okay, so in this day and age, all these people are talking about, really, and all this I'm talking about, anyone's talking about, is the lockdowns and the pandemic and all this stuff. It would be nice to have a bit of light relief and get away from that. So if you want to tell us about your condo and the buying process of a condo, I think, you know, people would be interested in that.
Yeah, so I bought it kind of an unusual way, which probably most people wouldn't do, or say I was an idiot, or, you know, be very afraid of the way I did it. But back in 2012 is right when the condo market really started opening up in Thailand. You know, just a couple of years before is when they allowed foreigners to start buying condos. So I was in Pattaya, and it was actually my last day in Pattaya, and I had to get on the bus that day to head back to Bangkok to fly out. And I was over at the Central Festival, you know where that is, and they usually have the condo display cases in there with the sales agents, and the one kind of caught my eye, and I told them I'd like to go take a look at it, and they said, well, we'll send the van over and come pick you up. Well, about 2 hours passed. She said, oh, they're so busy, he's not there. And I said, well, I have to go. So I took the brochure with me and flew back to the States. I emailed the guy the next day, and he called me back from Thailand. It was actually an English fellow, young English fellow named Lawrence Knowles. He was the agent for English speakers. And we talked on the phone for about an hour. And remember, I never saw anything. I just knew approximately where it was. He sent me all the sales literature, and we negotiated a price for a 1-bedroom condo. Took a couple days to go back and forth on the price, but actually bought it over the phone without ever seeing anything, without ever meeting this guy, without knowing anything. And I actually wired this guy $15,000 the next day as my deposit.
Well, absolutely. Well, you must have been confident anyway. Well, I mean, I wouldn't buy anything without seeing the first person. But obviously, you maybe you thought it was a good deal. So, I mean, Jomtien, you know, it's only a place I've only visited on a daytime. You know, when you get bored with Pattaya, and it's hard to get bored with Pattaya, but of a daytime, you know, you want something a little bit different. Just hop on a baht bus. It's only 10 baht. And have a little wander around Jomtien. I've never actually been there of a night time, so I don't really know the script at Jomtien. I know that it's got, but last time, one thing I did notice last time I was there is that they were a lot of Russians there now. You know that's the way it seems. It seems to be a very, very Russian community. But
yeah, they're there.
I don't really know too much about it, but it looks like it's got a nice beach anyway. In fact, the actual beach, I've never actually swam in it, but it looks rather nicer than Pattaya. Pattaya, as we know, has a lot of raw sewage going in there.
Well, that's the deal. That's the deal. The beach is much better in Jomtien, and that's why I wanted to be near that area. I would not want to be anywhere in central Pattaya. I don't like the beach there at all. And Jomtien is just, it's more peaceful in the daytime. You know, they don't do the bar scene really much there at night. Yeah. You know, they only have one go-go bar down there, but it's more for just relaxing and chilling. But you know how it is. You just hop on the baht bus and head back up into town. It only takes 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so easy, really, to get to, isn't it? Like I say, I've been there quite a few times, but just something, change of scene. I had a little walk around in the daytime. But what I did notice when I was there is that when it was I got off the bar bus at John TM. If you look on the beach, those apartment blocks stretch for miles, don't they? There's a lot to it, and I've never actually got around to going up that way. So all I see in the distance is these huge skyscrapers, but I've never actually done that. So, but I'm sure it's a more relaxed place, because at the end of the day, if you actually lived out in that part of the world, you would probably have a different life there than when you are a holiday maker. As a holiday maker, you want to get in there, live it up, and whatever. If you actually live there, then you still want to live it up frequently, or on a sporadic basis, or maybe a couple of times a week. I mean, some nights you simply just want to sit in your apartment and be on the internet or watch Netflix or whatever.
So let me continue the condo story. How I went. So
Okay.
What I was actually putting a deposit on was actually nothing was there. It was actually a pre-construction deal, and that's why I got such a great deal. The actual facility or site where they were, it's on Tepraya Road, which is the road between Pattaya and Jomtien. There was nothing there. It was just an empty plot of land. So I actually didn't get the condo in my possession for 4 years after that. So the way it's for some people, it actually works better buying a condo that's not built yet, because you get to stretch out the payments. So I didn't have to pay anything. I had to pay 10% more money every 6 months until it was time for 4 payments. Once I hit 45%, then I didn't have to pay any more money until we closed, or as they say in Thailand, transferred. And that didn't happen until 2016. So, and that whole time, the dollar gained quite a value on the baht. So I ended up actually saving $5,000 just by the exchange rate.
Yeah. Well, that sounds good.
So for me, it was a great experience.
Yeah. I mean, 4 years. I mean, I would worry personally about buying something, off plan, basically simply because if things go past. My only experience with buying a property abroad was in Turkey, and I bought that about 17 years ago, something like that, when it seemed to be the thing to do. And I bought a huge, lovely big apartment. It was the wrong place for me, but I could actually see what I was buying beforehand. It wasn't a great experience. It wasn't a particularly bad experience, but it wasn't a rocket to the moon either. And the reason is because Turkey was obviously the wrong country for me, and I got bored with it after a while. I just simply got bored with it. But obviously, Thailand is a different kettle of fish. You can't really get bored with Thailand. There's so much to do there.
For me, the risk was low because the price of it was just low. They almost just give away condos in Pattaya. I just figured for the amount of money it was, I would just take the risk, and it worked out great. I love my condo. I've had it for 5? I haven't seen it in 2 years, but I'm going to hopefully see it soon. But not only is it a free place to stay, but it's an investment too. I haven't lost any money on it.
Well, that's good to hear. That's really, really good to hear. And how about maintenance? I mean, do you have anyone come in and do the cleaning for you or anything?
No, I just lock it up, turn off the power and the water, and leave. It worked out, because I'd be back every 5 months or so. Now, I'm not going to be back for 2 years, but I think it'll be okay. It's been okay all the other times.
Yeah, absolutely. And so presumably this is in an apartment block, yeah?
Yeah, it's in a big building. It's in a big complex.
Obviously, you have a service charge for the whole apartment block, which is that reasonably priced? Is it?
Dirt cheap. So I pay 17,500 baht for the whole year for the maintenance.
17,000.
It's about 500, depending on where the dollar is, between 550 and $600.
Yeah, that's good for the whole year, isn't it?
That's the whole year. That's all I have to pay. Although Thailand did start charging property tax last year.
Yeah.
Well,
I had something similar. I mean, when I had my place in Turkey, I mean, I stayed out there sporadically, maybe 3 months at a time. It wasn't the right country for me, but I had good times. I had some good times out there, and basically, when you go to pay your council, Jesus God Almighty, the council tax, it was peanuts compared to what we pay in England. Everything seems so dirt cheap and all that. problem I had is that I just wasn't ready to retire out there. My plan was, to maybe retire out there, but it's somewhere like Turkey. They don't allow you to work, and I'm still at an age when I like to do a bit. I don't want to just sit around all day and be an alcoholic. You know what I mean? Bad enough of a night.
Well, mine is pretty easy to pay. If I'm not there, I could just pay it on my phone. I've got Bangkok Bank, and I've got the app on my phone, so I just transfer the money over and pay them. It's really easy.
So really, I mean, you'll say that it was a good investment. You've no regrets about buying it, then, no?
Oh no, I love it.
One of the problems, I mean, I've never bought a property in Thailand, but one of the problems of buying a property abroad, especially if you like traveling to many, many countries, is that you think it would be great to own a property abroad. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. But if you're a traveler, you then become tied to that property, and every time you go abroad, you think, I've got to go there to look after it. And you then realize, well, what about all those other countries that I like to visit as well? And it's in some ways it can become like a lead weight around you. I think if you're going to buy a property abroad, you should only really buy it in a country that you want to visit over and over again and forget about other countries. I think if I was to buy a property in Thailand, I would it would have to be in a situation where I don't want to visit other countries. I simply want to visit that one. And
well, you have to remember, as we said before, for the last 10 years, I pretty much only exclusively go to Southeast Asia. So for me, it's a no-brainer. And I'm the same as you. I use it as a hopping off point. I don't just go there and sit in the condo for 2 months. I sit there for about 7 or 8 days, and then I go somewhere else. I go to Phnom Penh, or I go to Chiang Mai, then come back. I need to move around. But it's nice to have a place to leave your stuff, and then you just pack a small bag.
That is good. That is good. I mean, I think if I was to take that plunge and buy a condo in Thailand again, I think at my age, I think it would have to be. I would have to buy at a time when I simply don't want to travel to other places. I simply want to buy a place abroad and stay in that one. I know you still like to travel, but I still like to travel. But I think if I did buy again, it would be at a time when I think I'm tired of traveling. I just want to buy abroad and I want to stay in that.
Well, if you have any spare, I'm pretty certain you probably have a few extra dollars in. Now's the time to buy a condo in Thailand. They're going for dirt cheap.
Really?
Oh God, it's practically. I mean, you can get one of them for just the price of a decent car.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll come back to that in a moment. I just want to have a little look in the chat, a moment, Dave, and then we'll come back to that buying process. Stephen O'Connor, good to hear from you. Stephen O'Connor from Phnom Penh is getting a few more tours. Phnom Penh is getting a few more tours. Seems a good mix of Asian and Western. Was out in the bars a few nights back, and seems more girls are coming back to town. More hotels are opening up. That sounds really great, Stephen. Good for you, mate, and it's good to hear from you. You probably heard me waffling on before. Us travellers from other countries, we want to get back out to Southeast Asia, but we can't do it without worrying. Without worrying about what's going on. Everyone's worrying about what's going on. I'm worrying. I've got a flight booked for Bangkok in 3 weeks' time. I'm still worrying about things. Every time I switch the news on, I'm thinking, what am I going to hear next? I want to be in Thailand. I want to be in Cambodia. I want to be various other places, maybe. Let's just hope that. Well, let's just hope for the best. Phnom Penh is getting a few more tourists, a good mix of Asian and Western. Great to hear that. Let's hope it continues.
There were some questions I was looking in the chat about people asking about owning a condo and land and all that stuff.
So this is what I was going to ask you. Yeah?
This is a title, a real Thai title to the condo. I own the condo. I don't own the land. A foreigner can't really outright buy land. There's some tricky ways to do it, but I own the condo and it stays in my name. So the land has to say 51% in Thai name. And that's why they sell 51% of the condos to Thai. That way the ownership always stays in Thai.
Yeah, okay. So this is it. But this is what I this is what I wanted to ask you. You can buy a condo in Thailand, but you can't buy the land that it's on.
Correct.
See, this was different than what I had in Turkey. Turkey, they were all freehold. you actually own it outright. You basically, this is being a problem right now. But you're telling me, what is this 50? Can you maybe make explicit this 51% Thai ownership?
So let's say the condo is developing 1,000 condos in the unit. 51% of those have to be bought by Thai nationals. 49% can be bought by foreign nationals. So I bought as a foreigner, which means I had to pay 3% more than a Thai would pay. But there's an advantage to that because a foreign-owned condo can always be sold back to the Thais. The 51% can always increase, but it can't decrease. So I can sell to anybody. I can sell to another foreigner or I can sell to a Thai. But if you sell to a Thai, I mean, if you're buy it under Thai ownership, like a company, it has to stay. It can only be sold to another Thai, not a foreigner.
I see. I see. Well, well, that sounds. There's always an element of gamble, isn't it? There's always an element of gambling. In anything. I mean, is there any way that a developer will come along and they would say we need this land, but offering the Thais lots of money, so to hell with the Westerners.
Well, no, they're gobbling up land, condos. People think that the market's dead. There's about 3 or 4 huge developments coming online next year in Pattaya. Huge ones. The Copacabana, very nice condos. It's still full steam ahead. That's why I was telling you, it's a great time to buy as an investment.
Okay. Let's. I was kind of ridiculous. Now, Hard Tulip, as far as I know, Hard Tulip, you're a good guy. He's asked the question: is Edward and Dave part of a Thai property scam master plan? No, absolutely not. I'm not planning on buying a property, and I'm not encouraging anyone else. The reason that we're having this conversation is simply because Dave owns a condo in John TM, of which I've learned he's very, very happy with it. And the reason that we're talking about it now is simply because what else are we talking about? We talked about nothing but bloody pandemic and PCR tests and all this kind of stuff. And I think everyone just a little bit tired. The reason when Dave suggested telling us about his condo is it's a bit of light relief. This subject of owning a condo in Thailand will interest people. It will interest people, and it's different than what we've been talking about recently. So that's the reason we're talking about it.
And the other reason I bought that condo wasn't just as a pure investment. It was actually because you get treated like a rock star over there when you buy property. The Thais and the developers, once you buy one, you've kind of proven that you have the money to do things. I used to get taken to parties and things by the developers. Come look at this new project. We're having a party tonight. You're just treated like a rock star once you sign that contract. They know you're not bullshitting anymore and just there to look around.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's fantastic. I mean, you got treated like a rock star in Thailand. When I bought my property in Turkey, I got treated as a bit of an oddity, simply because I got treated because, as we know, Turkey's all full of wongs. It's all full of the 65-year-old English women that go out there lusting after the young Turkish fellas, So for this middle-aged guy like me to come along and buy, I bought my place in Turkey simply because I thought naively, this was years ago, and I thought it's going to increase in value, and it was huge. It was it was the kind of property that would have been worth 5 or 6 times more back in England. But I thought I can't lose on it. It wasn't a bad experience, but it wasn't a rocket to the moon either. But I was sort of treated as an oddity out there. I used to like going out there simply because I love the environment in Turkey. I love the landscape and the mountain view that I had from my balcony, and the farmer with his goats and his sheep in the daytime going to wonderful, absolutely wonderful. But when I started going to some of the local bars in the area of Turkey where I was. I went to some of the English bars, some of the rough and ready bars full of English alcoholics, basically. And they kind of looked at me as an oddity. They kind of thought, what is this guy all about? I mean, there's a lot of, older people there and a lot of old wongers there, lusting after the young fellas. And me, some of them thought that I was gay. I went into one bar one night and they kind of got used to my face. And you could tell your ears are burning when people are there. People have been talking about it. One of these ladies said, I don't know if you know this, but the gay bar's about 3 doors down. I said, really? That's nice to know, except I'm not gay. And somebody, and then another night, and there was the same couple of women. They'd had that conversation, and it didn't work. They'd been having another conversation. You haven't brought any gay with you, have you? I'm there to, supply bloody, dope or something. They couldn't figure me out. I was there for totally innocuous purposes, simply because I wanted to have a property abroad in a beautiful country, and I wanted possibly to live in it, because Turkey is a country that I have the highest regard with regards to the landscape and everything. But it was eventually the wrong country for me. I was yearning to go out to Thailand, and it's one of those. It wasn't a great experience. It wasn't a bad experience, but it wasn't a rocket to the moon either. I wish that I'd, especially after what you just told me, I wish I had bought in Thailand.
Still can.
Yeah,
it would have been. My monthly expenses are living there when I'm there.
Yeah.
So you only have 2 bills. You only have 2 bills: water and electric. Water, $2 while I'm there. Electric, $30 to $40 with all the air conditioners running the way I run them.
That's really quite amazing. That's really quite amazing. I mean, right now, you've already said right now that at this moment in time is a good time to buy. Really. Well, I don't know. This time is a kind of a unique time. It's like people were saying recently, the Thai baht is weakening. We're getting more value for our UK pound for the Thai baht, which is all very well. But if you can't bloody get out there, you can't get out there without worrying. Is it a good time to be thinking about anything? Buying a property in Thailand, retired in Thailand, even visiting Thailand. Some people say it's not a good time to be doing that. So.
Screw that! I'm going.
You're going, okay. Well, I'm going as well. I'm going as well.
You know why I say that? Because Ed, I know a lot of people. I have a lot of friends in Thailand, over 100, and I'm seeing the way it is now, and it's good enough the way it is now. Sure, the go-go bars aren't open. I could care less, but it's 90% back to what it was, and that's enough for me to go over for a month.
Yeah, 90% though.
From what 90, from what I'm seeing in pictures and videos and my friends are sending me from going out at night, it's good enough.
Yeah. Well, if it's 90% good enough, fine. I mean, I get all kinds of messages, and some people contradict that, and I like, for me, somewhere like Pattaya wouldn't really be Pattaya without the sound of live bands and go-go bars. It wouldn't really quite be the same. I mean, this idea, and I know that you've mentioned it before, but the idea of bars turning into restaurants and
seems to be working. Seems to be working.
Pattaya full of restaurants.
I mean, no, it's not. Don't think of it as like every person's sitting at a table eating. They just have to have the facilities there to prepare and serve food. Whether they do it or not, nobody cares.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see. When will I be going to? I'll be beginning. If it all goes well in a few weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, then I will be beginning in Bangkok. And I like Bangkok a lot. And someone just mentioned in the chat there, who was it? The Crag 777 said Bangkok is a lot more open than Pattaya is right now.
That's true.
This is what I'm hearing. I seen a video from another vlogger the other day, and he's based in Phuket area, and he was saying basically, what is it with Pattaya? What is it? It seems that all of Thailand is very much open right now, even though they've got like an 11 p.m. curfew. All of Thailand is very much open right now. Except for Pattaya. It seems that Pattaya is being picked on for a lot of reasons. It's become a little bit of the black sheep of Thailand. That's the way it seems to me. But I'll go there. I will go there, but we'll see what happens anyway. My plan is to get out there in a few weeks' time, maybe spend a few days in Bangkok, and then head to Pattaya.
But Pattaya is mostly open now. I mean, they gave in on the alcohol ban a week ago. And people just rushed out and just converted everything over, all their licenses over to bakeries and restaurants as fast as they could. From what I'm seeing, it's all pretty much normal. Sure, you can't walk into a go-go bar, but life can exist without that for a while.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like that. I kind of like those go-go bars. I
They're
like them.
fun. They're okay, but I mean, it's not the basis for me going over there.
Yeah, yeah. I like go. See, the thing is, I watched video the other night on YouTube. One of the worst places in the world for those bloody tourist traps, and probably the worst place, is the European countries, especially Eastern European countries. I mean, some of those Eastern European countries, where they were fairly, poor countries not so long ago, but now something about them, they seem to absolutely the worst when it comes to ripping off tourists in those peep show go-go bars. You're going. Germany was. I mean, Germany's not Eastern Europe; it's Central Europe. But Germany is a country that I would rate really highly. I travelled through Germany about 7 years or something like that. No less than that. It might have been about 5 or 6 years ago. And I have the highest regards for Germany as a country to travel to. It's a terrific country. And the German people are some of the most hospitable people that you will meet. It's a terrific country. I went to Munich, Frankfurt, Hamburg, Berlin, a couple of other places. Terrific traveling place.
I've done Oktoberfest twice in Munich. I mean, I've been to Germany many times. It's a great place.
It is a great country, but some of those those go-go bars, they are such rip-offs. They are, but not only in if you go in a bar in Hamburg, you go in there, and if a girl approaches you, be very careful. I mean, you don't need to say any words. Even a little bit of eye contact will be assumed as that's it. He's getting me a drink, and before you know it, a drink is €50. You've gone in there for. You buy a couple of beers, and the next thing they're charging you €200 or whatever. I went into a little bar in Hamburg. When I was out there a few years ago, and there was some bloody gorilla on the door. The doorman was out there. Scruffy, scruffy bastard as well. And I was a bit suspicious about the place. It was like basically a little go-go bar. It had a curtain there instead of a door. And I was going in there, but I said to the jerk on the door, I said, how much is the beer in there? And they said, €5. I said, €5. I said, okay. So I go in there, and if I buy myself a beer for €5, I just pay €5. Yeah. He said, yeah. So I buy a beer for €5. And is there any other charge other than the €5 that I pay for the beer? €5. Okay, so I'm going to go in there. I'm going to pay €5. I'm going to have a beer. Okay. So I went in this go-go bar, and I sat down, close to the door or the curtain or whatever. And there was a couple of girls, on poles, and they were not nice. These were, you meet some lovely Eastern European and Germany. These were like saggy and, slovenly and all the rest of it. And, they had leotards on, saggy flesh and all that. And they were sat at the bar. I ordered a €5 beer. And the woman, served me the beer. And I said, this is going to cost me €5, isn't it? She said, €5. Okay, I'll give you the €5 in a minute. And then one of the girls with the leotard came over to me, and I didn't like it. She just looked like, Wellesley was saying, well, she looked like a nasty bastard. She looked like she'd bloody rob you to be your last penny if she could. She came and sat down next to me, and she tried to make conversation. She said, where are you from? And I looked at her. Even without replying, I didn't like the look of it. So I took a sip of my €5 beer. I said, this is nice beer, this. What is this can again? Can't remember the name, but it was nice beer. She said, where are you from? She said, are you going to buy me a drink? I said, you know what? This beer is really nice. I kind of like this €5 beer that I'm drinking. She said, you buy me a drink. I said, this €5 beer is really nice. She said, you bloody crazy. Talk to you bloody crazy. I've been there about 2 minutes already, made an enemy. So anyway, I drank the €5 beer. I said to the barmaid, there's your €5, and walked out again. But I thought, you hear of people being stung for hundreds and hundreds and even thousands of dollars. They're the worst one. And the reason I'm going on about this in places like Germany and Eastern Poland and that Krakow place. I don't know if you've ever been to Krakow. Krakow. I went to that. Looked bloody notorious. That I didn't. I was there in about part of a stag do, and some of the lads were ripped off of hundreds of euros. I didn't fall for it. But what the reason I'm making this issue is that what is so refreshing about Thai go-go bars is that they are not rip-offs. Now I know some people say they've had bad experience of it, but they are absolutely. The ones that I know in Pattaya are as good as gold. Not a problem. I go in those go-go bars, those beautiful Thai girls. Sometimes they're dancing topless. Sometimes they're dancing completely naked. I'm all for that. And I feel totally relaxed in them. I can go in there. I can pay for what I want to. I can leave without a problem. I mean, absolutely, I'm not with the highest regard of them. I've never, ever had a problem with them. So why the hell can't those Eastern European bloody things be the same way? Why do they have to rip people off?
Let me tell you an experience I had up there a long time ago with one of those situations. I think you'll get a kick out of it. Yeah. I was in Latvia, Riga, Latvia. We were going around the Baltic states, and I was in an adult bookstore. And somehow I took down a phone number or something for an escort service or something. And I actually called the number, and a lady talked to me, and we talked kind of the details, and she told me to go wait over by the square, over by this one corner by the park or whatever. And I thought, okay. And I was by myself. I was traveling with a friend, but he's like, you're on your own. I'm not part of this. Well, this black Russian Lada pulls up with just these two unbelievably looking Latvian girls in the front seat. And she just says, get in. I hopped in the back of this car by myself. They drove me outside of town, and I thought, holy shit. They took me to this farmhouse, and they basically had a sheets and things kind of drawn around in the living room, and the babushka and everything was over there in the other room. And the one gal came in and basically got undressed, said, go ahead and do your business. And we did that, and I paid my money, whatever it was at the time. And they basically drove me right back into town where I got picked up. So it was completely legit.
Really?
It was completely legit.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised because I thought you were going to tell us you were stung for a small fortune. You know.
So was I.
That sounds bloody good. Those what they call the Baltic Tigers. Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. I've never actually made of those. I've heard of guys being stung for a lot of money there. That sounds bloody good. So you would recommend that place?
I was impressed. Oh yeah, for sure. The Baltic states. I mean, by far, Estonia is the best one.
Is it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, but Riga and the other ones, they're still worth a visit. They just don't have as much, I don't know, attractiveness as Tallinn.
Yeah, but you know something. You know what is totally bizarre about this, and I'm not going to get into that very controversial, very controversial subject of practice. What is bizarre is that I believe, as far as I know, these countries, former Soviet countries, are now in the EU, aren't they? I think they are.
Some of them are.
Whereas we are not. We're not in the EU anymore. It's bizarre that. Poland's in the EU. We are not. Slovakia is in the EU. We're not. And, strange situation.
Well, the Ukraine's trying to get into the EU, and that's what's causing the problem.
Jesus Christ. I mean, Ukraine, what's going to happen there next? Look at the news. I mean, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Ukraine is trying to be a part of NATO, aren't they? It's Russia to saying if you do, then we'll... you got problems. You got big problems. You never know what's coming next. I don't understand this. I don't understand why Russia. I've never actually been to Russia. I'd like to visit the place, but
I've been to Russia. Never would go back. Never would go back.
You didn't. Well, so you didn't like it then? No.
I like the country, but it's too much. There's too much risk, political risk going there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not worth it for me. I mean, when we went, it was even before Putin and all that, and you're just stopped constantly, papers, you're stopped constantly everywhere, and they want everything. It's too much hassle going there.
No, I think I'd give it a miss because Russia it's the largest country in the world, isn't it, in terms of land?
Hmm.
I don't really know where I'd want to go in Russia. I mean, would I want to go to Moscow or St. Petersburg? I think,
St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg.
yeah, I've heard that that's a really, really nice city. But I think I did have this conversation with you the other week. I think I've seen enough European cities or cities in this part of the world. I've seen enough famous buildings and enough famous sites to last me a lifetime. And I really, really don't really need to see anymore. I think I would find Russia to be a fairly cold place, even if I visited there in the summertime. I don't think it would leave me with a good. I don't think I'll bother with Russia, to be honest with you. I think it'd be
Actually,
more.
St. Petersburg is very hot in the summer, and they do the
Yeah,
white nights there because of the latitude. So it's
yeah,
like daylight until like midnight there in July.
yeah, yeah.
But
Somebody's mentioned in the chat, Kenny W. A few videos YouTube. Odessa girls, red hot. I went to Ukraine. I went to Kiev. And I went to Odessa, and I must admit, I much preferred Odessa. It was smaller, more friendlier. But it's as for Kiev, some people say that Kiev is one of the greatest cities in the world. I like nice city and all that, but I just don't trust those places. I think if you're a middle-aged guy and you go looking for the women, you only have to trip up and you can be stung. But I just don't trust those places.
well, that's my point. What you were talking about Thailand versus Europe. Yeah, I used to mess around and all those things in Europe as well a long time ago. And when you go into those bars or go-go bars, there's always that element of who's looking over your shoulder. Is this a scam? And it's just not comfortable. When you're in Southeast Asia, as you know, if you go into Thai establishments, you're pretty much safe. They're not
Yeah,
really out
absolutely.
to get you that much.
Yeah, and that's what I like. I like an environment, where I can go in there, I can have all me naughty fun, or and whatever, and not have to worry about anything. And I do feel relaxed in a lot of those go-go bars. I'm totally relaxed in those go-go bars. Now I know that you get some fellas still saying that they went in there and they were ripped off. It's probably because they acted like idiots. That's basically the reason for it. But I do miss those, and also not just that, but also the live bands in Thailand. I mean, in Pattaya, there's very much a culture of live bands, and if I, to not hear the sound of live bands in Pattaya, it just wouldn't be the same for me. It just wouldn't be just would not be the same.
I think they're back. I think they're back. I
What,
think the
what,
live bands are back.
yeah, well, yeah. It's a question for you, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
With regards to Pattaya, if you was to have a night out there, which would you prefer if you had the choice of Walking Street or Soy Cow?
It depends who I'm with. I have a lot of buddies that live there full time and whatnot. And I kind of just when they're always asking me to go out, I kind of just toss it over to them. Wherever you want to go, I'll go. Some of them like to go to Walking Street. Some of them like to go to Bukau. Some of them like to go to Seven, all those different things. I'm just a tag along. I'm pretty much happy wherever I go.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Super cow. I mean, I visited Thailand many times over the period of years without ever going to Super cow. In fact, I'm not even sure when that place actually became popular. But there's a very, very British community there now. A lot of British people, and it's better value. And there's a lot of fun, and there's great massage parlors, and there's great bars, and there's a lot of good stuff there in Super cow. But the actual area itself is fairly ugly.
Did you ever hear that Sensations bar over there on Action Street over in Bukau?
So I probably have.
There was that UK show that came on about over 10 years ago about that guy in the UK that was dating a lady boy.
Yeah.
He was living and they had a bar in Action Street, and I watched the show and I went over there and met the guy and I met the girl. They gave me a free hat. So it was called Sensations. For a while there, they were really popular.
Yeah, I think it's been a while. I've heard of Sensations. I can't see a place where that is. But the problem that I have with Soy Cow is that how can I phrase it? It's a bit of an ugly place. It's a bit of a look. Whereas Walking Street, Walking Street, it just seems I know it's a lot more touristy, but also the quality of live bands is better on Walking Street. Whatever anyone says, honestly, it is such a. I love live bands. You go on some of those bars along Walking Street, and it is of a quality that you simply couldn't get in the Cyber Cow area.
Yeah.
You know, you will pay higher prices for drinks there, but you get what you pay for.
Well, walking Street's like going to Vegas. You know that. Yeah. You know, Walking Street's like the Strip.
Yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah, it's still. I couldn't imagine Pattaya without Walking Street, because it was one of the first. It was one of the first places I ever visited. You know, in Thailand, and you know, I still have a lot of affection. I used to stay in the Beverly Plaza Hotel, which is just a couple of blocks away from Walking Street. So I always stayed there, and that was a hotel. It became a very, very Indian hotel after that. They had a nice swimming pool and everything, and it was really great. And when you first visit a place, and the first place that you loved it, you never forget it. You never forget your first love.
You know, they actually have that soy on Walking Street right out there called Soy BJ.
Yeah.
There's a Soy BJ right there on Walking Street.
Absolutely. I can't place where that one is, but
about halfway down.
Yeah. Roy Gold, Walking Street is a dump if you see it in the daytime. Well, you don't really, not really. I mean, you don't really go there in the daytime. It's very much a nighttime place, isn't it? Yeah, Macadog, best by far, Go-Go in Walking Street, Windmill. I think it's overrated. I think it's a bit overrated. It's all right, but I mean, it's good, but there's better places than that. I know that for a fact. Steve Burton, Ed, I like the live bands. Absolutely. Nice to hear from you, mate. Rusty Lid, King Cafe on Walking Street is now open.
Skyfall used to be really good, but very expensive.
I've never actually made it in that. I know exactly where Skyfall is.
It's right there. They're all right there, but that was a good one. I mean,
Skyfall. I'll tell you what about Skyfall. That is the one where Bangkok 112. You're familiar with Bangkok?
Oh yeah, I know him.
He must have found an easy seat across Walking Street from Skyfall. Because if you look at his videos, he seems to film that one more than any other. There's a live band bar across from there, and he must have found the perfect little seat, his perfect little hangout to put his camera and whatever and surreptitiously film it. I think there are more filmings of Skyfall on Bangkok 112's videos than any other. Well, I never really went in there. I've never actually been in there, to be honest with you. Hopefully,
you know how some of these go-go bars, you walk in there and you kind of look there and you're like, how did some of these people get hired here?
Yeah.
Skyfall had a pretty good selection, but you had to pay for
it. Yeah. Well, you probably did, but I mean, I can think of go-go, but personally, I can think of go-go bars around this the Walking Street and some of the sides sides from Walking Street where they weren't that expensive. I thought they were reasonably priced, and the quality of women was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. But
but did you ever ask any of them how much they actually wanted to go out with you?
Oh yeah, David. Things have changed. Things have changed. Mm-hmm. In the old days, I would have bar fined a go-go dancer as I did.
They're 1,000 now. They were 1,000 before COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, they have rocketed up in price. And who's losing out? Are the girls really gaining from that? Because most of the guys who go in there will just say no. Whereas in the olden days, I had some lovely bars, these lovely girls out of the go-go bars. Whereas now, I mean, I think, the thing is, if you're gonna pay a massive price, you better make sure that you damn well rise to the occasion.
Somebody's counting my smiles.
You don't want to pay a massive price and then find that you're not going to rise to the occasion because you've had too many beers. So Stephen O'Connor, I like the bar just before Walking Street, down a little alley and right out on the ocean. They have a system of bay mats to indicate if you're looking up for later or not. Lots of cute freelance. I think you mean, do you mean, Stephen, do you mean the Beer Garden?
Yeah.
The bar just before, the one where they have the mats looking or chilling. Or chilling. I never understood because the Beer Garden's wonderful if that's the one that you mean. It's such a big place. It's got a great music system. They got views of the ocean. Terrific. One of the old Pattaya stalwarts. But if you go in there, they have these table mats chilling one side, looking, and they have this big sign. I used to not really know what's that all about. Single ladies welcome. When I first went there, I thought, what's that all about? And what they mean is like freelancers can come in if you want. And I love it. I've never entertained the ladies in the Beer Garden simply because that's not what I go there for. Not that particular place anyway. I go to the Beer Garden to have a nice meal, especially in the daytime with a beautiful view.
They have good food there. It's opening back up. It got bought by somebody else. They're refurbishing it. It's going to open back up again.
Yeah, I think it was a big blow for a lot of people when a few months, well, more than a few months, it might have even been a year ago, when the news was the Beer Garden was gone, because that was like an old, like the Tahitian Queen, an old stalwart of Pattaya, really. You couldn't really imagine Pattaya without the Tahitian Queen or the Beer Garden. We've still got about 300 in the chat, David.
Oh, good.
I've been on for an hour and 40 minutes now.
That's nothing. Somebody was counting my smiles.
Somebody is on the same page as me. Mac a dog, yeah. Sue Eddie, worst feeling when you pay all that cash and can't get a good rock solid. He said something else. Okay. Paul, hello, steady Eddie. Steve Beard commentates. Paul Hoskin, another smutty guy. When you pick a girl and then find out she has a beaver, well, hopefully you already knew that anyway. Robert H. I love Bamboo reopens eventually. MILF heaven, yeah? Okay. Mr. Mitch is here. Nice to hear from you, Mr. Mitch, anyway. Bobby Chris, some nice old bangers in Bamboo. Okay, a few more little chats. Okay, Jack, 300 to 400 quid a week, Thailand, if you're living all year round. That's exactly what I say. That is exactly, Jack, what I say. They're 300 to 400 quid a week. Even if you're retired out there, and taking a little bit easier, you're still looking overall at about that much. I mean, I still hear these idiots back, who've never, these armchair experts who've heard stories of you can live out there on next to nothing. It's not so. If you want to enjoy yourself, you do need to spend a significant amount of money. What's this? There's a Roy Gold. There's a sign saying Tahitian Queen is opening January the 15th, 2022.
Yeah, I heard it's reopening. It's reopening.
Well, that'll be good. I mean, there's no guarantee that anything is there's no guarantee that anything's up. Devil's Den. Eddie, it's not nationalities that they are banning. It's if you've been in certain countries in the last 14 days. Ian Bowden, nice to hear from you, Ian. Hi, Eddie and David. Just tuned in from a Monday night out, the lads. Are we going to the land of mass smiles in January or not? Well, I'm planning on going there, and David's planning on going there a little bit after this. So, let's hope we can all meet up, and let's hope let's hope it all comes good in the end. But the news right now, I mean, do you worry when you switch the news on, David, about what's going to happen next?
I think the Prime Minister came out and said no more lockdowns, and I think with the amount of unrest and daily protests that are going on against him, he doesn't dare do another lockdown, and he knows.
Yeah. Oh well. We've got the Prime Minister of our country to worry about right now.
That's a bigger problem.
David, Vietnam is now put Britain on the banned list.
I heard that.
Laos is put Britain on the banned list. They're two very significant Southeast Asian countries. So I don't know. Is it going to be the domino effect? I mean, if Vietnam and Laos put Britain on the banned list, are Cambodia and Thailand's gonna go the same way.
Don't know.
Yeah, well, it's worrying. It's worrying. It's worrying.
I'd be concerned.
Yeah, it's worrying. Anyway, let's see. Del Boy, Willy Wonka, lockdown in January, Eddie. Well, hopefully it's after I've got on an airplane and got out of here. Let's see. Roy, okay. There's another comment there somewhere. Johnny D, nice to hear from you. Patriots is number one. Norway just banned alcohol. Isn't that where you have to pay about bloody 10 quid for a pint or something like that? I don't blame you for buying. Probably no one's buying it. Have you ever been to Norway? Have you, David?
No, that's one of the few countries. I've been to Denmark and all the other ones. I missed Norway.
It was. I heard from somebody with it is notoriously expensive, Norway. It's especially for a pint of beer and whatever. I've heard from somewhere that how people have a night out in Norway, they stock up on. Did I hear they stock up on moonshine whiskey, and they brew their own whiskey and they drink a lot of it at home before they have a night out, so they're already drunk by the time they go out. I'm sure
Finland is notoriously expensive for alcohol. So what they do is they just get on the ferry and ride down to Tallinn. It's only an hour ride down in the ferry, and the alcohol there is 10 times cheaper than what it is in Finland.
Really?
And they just get smashed and come back on the ferry.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds bloody good. I've never actually made it those Scandinavian countries. I think that they'd be a bit too cold for me. Okay. So we've still got 300 in the chat.
Let's get some good questions going.
Okay. Let's see. Johnny D, my friends are in Pattaya now. They say it's full of nice ladies. That sounds good. That sounds good. Steve Burton.
The golden era of Thailand, as I said, it was between 2000 and 2010.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, absolutely. But that's the way that I mean, you have to move on. But the fact is, it's not that things have changed. It's also the idea that we're dealing with something now that we've never ever dealt with before. It's not after almost 2 years of all of this pandemic, this long running soap opera. You still never know what's around the corner. But right now we've got the onion variant. Next week it could. Next week, for all we know, next week it could be the bloody pot noodle variant. It could be the pot noodle variant of it. Do you have these in America, David?
Oh yeah. In fact, I just bought the mama noodles same ones I buy in Thailand. I can get them over here. See, we have a large Asian community in Southern California, so it's easy. I can get Leo beer, everything.
Yeah. Do you know something? I mean, I was shopping the other day, and throwing various things into the trolley, and I just noticed these. They're only £1 each, but they're damn tasty. And for the late night snack that has not got that many calories to it,
I love them.
I thought, chuck a couple of those in. Do you know something? I'm really, really looking forward to having this.
Yeah.
After this live stream, I will not attempt to eat it now because it's very, very sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
And the sight of me slopping a pot noodle down me is probably not a very, very pretty sight. I don't think that would go down very, very well. Listen, I've done an hour and 3/4, so let's keep it at 2 hours.
I've been to the Philippines.
The Philippines.
Did I ever tell you what happened? A lot of people ask me, "Oh, you've been to over 50 countries. What was the worst one you've been to?" And I have a little story about the Philippines. And I went there because I always usually tell them that it was the Philippines. And the reason was I went there on work travels back when I used to work for the government. We were staying there in Quezon City, and me and my coworker were having breakfast the next morning. And all of a sudden a guy walks in with a handgun, proceeds back to the kitchen, and basically murders the hotel manager while we're sitting there having breakfast. Yeah. Everybody comes running out. Oh, what happened? And, we found out later that he was fired the night before, so he came back to take his revenge on the manager.
David, I wonder, did this happen in Subic Bay?
No, it was in Quezon City. It was in Manila, Quezon City. And we were staying in the top hotel. This was the 5-star hotel.
Yeah, I heard something similar happened in you know, it was a dispute. I think he actually shot the owner of the place in Subic Bay as well. Yeah, too many handguns there. What I will say about I've made two visits to the Philippines. You know, first one was about 18 years ago. I'd already visited Thailand. I'd been to Malaysia, which I didn't like. I went to Vietnam, which I loved. And I thought, you know, the Philippines, I'd actually crossed from, how did I get, yeah, I flew from Malaysia to the Philippines. Yeah, that's right. Malaysia to the Philippines. And I actually felt a little bit very, very nervous in the Philippines because I'd heard so many stories. I heard stories from expats, the kind of guys who you would listen to when they tell you something. They said, be careful, you know, you're carrying your backpack. You know, if you be in a crowded shopping mall, you will be surrounded by, you know, young Filipinos. Apparently, they've got a bit of a gang culture there. You'll be surrounded by young Filipinos who'll put a bloody knife in your side and cut the straps. And it sort of frightened me in a way, simply because I didn't have any problems in Vietnam, Thailand, not even in Malaysia. But I kind of felt that, you know, I heard a few warnings in the Philippines that didn't make me very, very easy. I was in a hotel and, you know, a young lad, you know, one of the young porters said, I'll take you to a bar tonight where there's loads of girls, but you stay here. I'll go and get the taxi and bring it here because there's some bad boys in these little villages around it. I constantly heard stories about, be careful wherever you go. I eventually comes to like it, but that was on my first visit. My second visit was just a couple of years ago. About 3 years ago, I think it was something like that, and that was much better, because I think the President Duarte, I think he's cleaned up a lot of that, maybe made things a little bit stricter, but it seems to me to be a lot safer place now. I actually really enjoyed my last visit to the Philippines, really did. I went from Manila to Angeles City to Subic Bay, back to Angeles City, back to back to Manila, and I didn't have a problem walking. I felt much more at ease. But one thing I will say about the Philippines is the street hustlers. They are a different kettle of fish than what you will encounter in Thailand and Cambodia and Vietnam. In those countries, they don't really bother you. They may, how are you, say, maybe strike up a conversation. They want you to sell you something. It's all fairly harmless. They're not really aggressive. In the Philippines, they were a different kettle of fish. They were much more aggressive. The street hustlers who were, selling things in Manila and even in Subic Bay, they had a bit of a slyness about them, an aggression about them. They would try and strike up a conversation to sell whatever they've got. If you weren't interested, they'd then try and get into an argument with you and accuse you of being nasty. They'd try and get into an altercation. They're a different kettle of fish, no doubt about it. And I did have a couple of incidents in the Philippines where when I arrived there, some of my YouTube subscribers messaged me to say, Eddie, a word of advice, the Philippines is not Thailand. That's what he said. And I had one in particular, really quite a heated confrontation with somebody one night. And, I thought to myself, maybe that's what they meant. The Philippines is not. I've seen a level of aggression from the Philippine street hustlers that I've never, ever seen in Thailand.
I think you have to have the third eye open the whole time in the Philippines. It could be good there, but I think you got to keep an eye out. They can turn into the Wild West pretty quick. But here's a place for you to go. I don't think you've been there before. You said you didn't like Malaysia very much. I went to Malaysia once too and found it a little dull. But have you ever been to Jakarta?
No, never been to Jakarta.
Okay, so I was kind of skeptical the time I went to Jakarta, but I actually found it pretty fun there.
Yeah,
and really? Yeah. So they're not quite as strict as they are in Malaysia, in terms of the religious police and all these kinds of things. But there's actually a place there. If you stay right there in downtown Jakarta, there's actually a place there called Block M. So next time, do some Googling on that when you're on your computer. And I think you'll find some stuff you're interested in there.
Yeah, I have heard some reports. I mean, the only Indonesian place I've been to was Bali, which I didn't really like.
Yeah, that place sucks.
No, I didn't like Bali either. But I have heard that Jakarta is pretty good. Dave, I would go there. I'd go there tomorrow. But let's just see what the current situation is right now.
There was a funny story. I was flying down to Jakarta on Air Asia, everybody's favorite airline up there, and it's about a 4-hour flight down to Jakarta. And as you're doing the approach into Jakarta, the flight attendant comes on and they give you all the story about landing, and they say, oh, and one last thing, the punishment for using or smuggling drugs in Jakarta is death. Have a nice day.
Well, that's the same in Malaysia. They say that on an airplane in Malaysia, and yet there's still probably people who do. I don't get involved in any of that. Never been involved in it, so I've never actually had a problem with that. But I've heard some could be David Jakarta. A couple of years ago, I went to Bali. I didn't like it, but I heard that Jakarta is much better. I would go there tomorrow. I would go there if the coast is clear, but last I heard, it's not open to us. I don't know if it is now.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to give the wrong impression about Bali. Bali is a very beautiful place to visit. The countryside and the culture and all that stuff. It's overrun by Australian tourists.
Yeah, well, I have to say though, when I was there, I was actually there. Bali has got a different climate to other places in Southeast Asia because if you go to like Thailand, southern Vietnam, Cambodia, they are wonderfully hot and dry in January, February, March. Bali is actually in the rainy season then. I went there in the month of January or February. I think it was the month of February. A lot of rain, and the amount of rubbish and plastic that was on the beach was absolutely appalling. But also, I actually thought it was quite a dull place, Bali. There's a lot of young people. I'm not against, young people. I'm not against Australians. Can be good people and all that, but it's just the place itself. I mean, it just wasn't for me, really.
Let me be clear. I don't have anything against Australians. I've been to Australia. They're fantastic people. What I just get bored about is when I go to a place and you walk down the street and all they say is, we serve pizza and spaghetti and cheese sandwiches. And I don't go to Jakarta to eat pizza. I want to eat local food. And it just seems that they're catering to the Australians that don't want to eat that kind of food.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, all that he says that Bali wasn't. Funnily enough, I mean, I always thought all Australians know about Bali because I think it's only about 4 hours or something like that away from where they are. But the night before I was due to fly out to Bali, I was actually in Pattaya, and I was in a bar in Soyoni or whatever it was, and I was talking to a couple of Australian fellas who were playing pool in Soyoni late at night. And they asked me questions, where are you from and where are you going to and how long you're here and all that. I said, I've been here in Thailand for about a month. I said, I'm flying out to Bali tomorrow, actually. I've got to be up early. I've got a taxi to Bangkok airport, and I'm flying to Bali. And one of the Australian guys said, what the hell are you going there for? It's a shithole. That just surprised me. It wasn't for me. I wasn't really impressed. I wasn't won over by Bali at all. But I wouldn't mind trying Jakarta because I wouldn't. Indonesia's a lot of islands to Indonesia. But next time I went to that country, I would like to go sort of in season when the weather's better, because a place like Bali, there was a lot of rain there, and I don't like rain. Basically, I don't like rain. Let's have a little look at the chat. Who's that there? Yogi Bear. No, I have a lot of family out there, so I checked that out anyway. Okay, Ernest Connell, Australian tours, probably 100 in the chat. Australian tours, I get a lot of messages from Australians. They're good people here, and I've got to know a lot of the names over the years. And I really, really, really hope that Australia, they've had a rough time, really, with the lockdown. They've had, draconian rules, being locked down a lot more than the rest of us have. So I hope, to all the Australians, I hope you get traveling again soon. I met some really good ones. Cowboy Vic episodes. I remember the Bali bombings. Terrible, dreadful. Okay, let's see. Yogi Bear. Jack, I should have been going February 2020, and they closed with 2 days of flights, waiting to get back. Steve Burton, Kong will look after you, okay? Roy Gold, Palawan is good for a visit. I couldn't live there. Is Palawan a Philippines island? I think
Yeah,
that's
it's very beautiful
island,
there.
isn't it?
Very beautiful.
Mr. Where Do You Going? Now, Mr. Where Do You Going is another vlogger. He does a lot of videos on the Philippines, a lot of scorebird videos. He's saying, what do you think of Singapore? I've never actually been to Singapore because I think it's too notoriously expensive.
Oh, I like Singapore.
You like it, yeah, yeah. I'd say I was in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, and I thought, where shall I go next? And I was at a bus station, and I thought he planned to go to what's it called? What is it called? I thought that island in Malaysia, not that.
Oh,
a few hours from
the city's Georgetown.
Yes.
Penang.
Yeah, that's where I was going. I was going to Penang. I was getting the bus there to Penang, and I seem to recall seeing on the sign there that if I went the other way, Singapore is only a few hours away. And I remember thinking, I don't want to go to Singapore because I wasn't that impressed with Kuala Lumpur, and I don't want a more expensive, version of
great food in Singapore.
Really, yeah.
If you like that kind of food.
Yeah.
If you're looking for pizzas and spaghetti, you don't go to, if you like street food, great food.
A word that I've often heard from people who've been to Singapore is the word sterile. Does that mean it's little character there, or?
Well, they have all those kind of bizarre laws, like chewing gum is illegal, and it just any spitting on the streets illegal. Just all these little nitpicking things, but. Nightlife there can be challenging because it's so expensive there. Alcohol, they have a huge alcohol tax. So again, usually what the Singaporeans do is they hop on a flight and go up to Bangkok and party for the weekend.
Yeah. Well, so that's it. I mean, if you're in Singapore and you have to fly up to Bangkok for the night, then Singapore. I don't think that's the place for me that summer. I really don't. Mr. Where Do You Going? Okay, he's mentioned Singapore. I've actually never been there. David likes it. One thing about Mr. Where You Were Going, he's done an awful lot of scorebirds videos. Scorebirds, the pool party in Angeles City in the Philippines. There's a couple of videos on my list when I actually, Mr. Where Do You Going? I actually visited scorebirds twice. The first time I visited there, I made some nice videos, which is still on my list. And I know Mr. Where You Going has got some great scorebirds videos. But I'm still gutted, absolutely gutted. I made a second visit to Scorebirds, Angeles City wet t-shirt pool party. I'd gone to Subic Bay, spent some time there, went back to Angeles City, and made another visit to Scorebirds. And I filmed a show there, the wet bikini contest. I've still got the film of it now. I attempted to show it on YouTube a couple of years ago, and they took it down after half an hour. The wet t-shirt girls were too wet, and the cheeky girl there was pulling her knickers up her, was a bit too cheeky for them. I'm gutted at that. They just won't let me show it. But I've still got the videos there. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I've still got the videos there of the girls in wet t-shirts, and they're absolutely stunning. And oh well, whatever. I better just keep it to myself. But anyway, nice to hear from you, Mr. Where Do You Going? Really nice to hear from you.
Somebody was talking about Singapore slings. Yeah, you go to the Raffles Hotel there, which is the very famous old hotel there. It's expensive. I had one there the last time I was there. And you know what they charged me for that damn drink? $30. 30 Singapore dollars, which is roughly equal to $30 US for one drink.
Jesus Christ. You've got to have money to burn in order to go to a place like that. You've got to be a certain type of person. I met somebody a couple of years ago. It was talking about travel, and this lady said to me, "I've been to Singapore. I actually went to Raffles." It was like if she made the trophy, and I went to Raffles. Oh, good. I mean, what justifies the price just to say that you've been there? I went to a pavement cafe in Hanoi in Vietnam and paid a couple of dollars for a nice meal. I think I think that sounds as impressive as someone who goes to raffles. I mean, I wouldn't want to go somewhere like that. I wouldn't want to pay that kind of price simply to say that I've been there. I think
Was
even
was 600 to 1,000 a night at Raffles Hotel.
yeah, Jesus Christ, that is ridiculously expensive. Not for me.
Well, just so you know, Singapore Airlines calls their business class Raffles class.
Really? No, definitely not for me. And who's mentioned scorebirds? Someone mentioned scorebirds. Malosa 1963. Scorebirds wet the shirt, quite tame. You may think it's quite tame, mate. You filmed a wet t-shirt contest and then try and put it on YouTube with advertised and see how tame it is. They didn't think it was very tame. Okay. El Terrifico. I had to sling at raffles, $31, and it was terrible.
Yep.
Yeah,
well,
I'd expect a bloody rocket to the moon for $31. Willy Wonka, £15 a pint in Dubai. Not for me, mate. Not for me. Okay, Steve Burton, Ian Bowden. Let's be positive, Eddie. This time next month we should be at least in 25 plus degrees and being able to have that pleasure of being in the tropics in January. Anything extra will be a bonus. I'm with you, Ian. I'm with you, Ian. Absolutely. I live in hope. 3 weeks time. 3 weeks time. I will celebrate. Not on the day that I fly, not on the day that I arrive, which is the following day, but on the day after that, when I hopefully step out of a hotel in Bangkok and I'm told that I'm free to go. That's when I'll celebrate. Okay, that's when I'll celebrate.
So get back.
Absolutely. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Listen, David, it's been great having you on the show. I've run for 2 hours now. We're starting as 2 hours. I like doing things. I haven't done it with regards to the Thailand. Have you actually started the Thailand pass yet?
Oh, no, you're not supposed to do that until about a week before your actual trip.
Oh, no, I want to do it before that.
I don't know if they'll do it. I don't know if they'll do it sooner.
Some people say, I know some people have done it like up to maybe 2 months before their
flight. Well, okay.
Yeah. No, I want to get it done. I'm away in 3 weeks' time. I don't want to. I want to get all the stuff, absolutely everything booked. Up to now, I've got my flight booked. I've booked my first night's hotel, but I might have to change that. I might have to opt for the package. I really, I want to get everything done this week. So by the end of the week, I'll be able to say, I'll be able to relax a bit. I will be able to relax a bit for a couple of weeks before flying out. And then whatever happens. If something untoward happens.
Well, I'm getting ready to go have my first jab.
Yeah. I've had 3.
Yeah, I never did it. I'm one of those people, but because of the trip, I got to do it. So I'm getting ready to go in pretty soon to do the first jab.
Yeah, I hate jabs, but I've had the 3 of them, and before, by the time it comes around, to get out there, they'll probably be saying it's 4 jabs. I just want, if there's going to be a lockdown in the UK, I just want to be on the plane and out of there before that happens, and then I'll sort everything out later. Okay, listen. I'm going to say goodnight pretty soon. We've been on for a couple of hours now. It's been great talking to you, Dave. You've always got something great to talk about. I'll tell you what I'm going to have because I'm absolutely starving for it. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have this.
Waiting on.
I'll probably dip toast in it as well. I can't wait. The perfect late night snack. Okay. Listen, thanks for everybody tuning in. It's been great. Hopefully by Thursday night, I will be on a Thursday night, 10 o'clock. Hopefully by Thursday night, I will be able to report that I've done the Thailand pass and maybe have a discussion about it, what it entails, maybe go through it. Okay? So listen, thanks, Dave. Thanks for being a great guest tonight. I'll see you pretty soon. Good night. Thank you, everybody. Keep thinking positive. I'll see you back on Thursday. Okay? Cheers.